Imagine you are diligently maintaining a kosher kitchen, taking great care with every meal, when suddenly you realize a non-kosher ingredient has accidentally come into contact with your food. It is easy to feel worried or unsure about what to do next in this moment. When kosher food becomes accidentally contaminated by non-kosher items, the general rule is that the contaminated food should be disposed of, meaning it should not be eaten or served. This applies if the non-kosher item made direct contact, especially when hot, or was mixed in as an ingredient, compromising the kosher status of the dish. The reason for this guideline comes from the principles of Kashrut, which prohibit the consumption of non-kosher substances. When non-kosher food touches kosher food, particularly while warm or in a significant quantity, the non-kosher taste or essence can be absorbed, rendering the otherwise kosher food also non-kosher. This concept is sometimes referred to as taste like the main ingredient, where the absorbed flavor impacts the entire dish. To address this situation, first, carefully assess the extent of the contact. If a small, clearly identifiable non-kosher item, like a stray crumb, fell onto a cold, solid piece of kosher food, you might be able to simply remove the crumb and a small outer layer of the kosher food. However, if non-kosher liquid spilled into a hot pot, or a non-kosher ingredient was stirred into a dish, the entire mixture becomes non-kosher. For such cases, the contaminated food should be discarded. Ensure you dispose of it in a way that prevents it from being mistakenly consumed later, perhaps by placing it in a separate bag before putting it in the trash. An important insight in Kashrut is the concept of nullification, or bitul, where a minute amount of a non-kosher substance might sometimes be nullified by a much larger quantity of kosher food, typically a ratio of 1 part non-kosher to 60 parts kosher. However, applying this principle requires expert rabbinic guidance and is not a general rule for accidental contamination. For everyday kitchen incidents, it is always best to err on the side of caution and dispose of food that has come into direct, significant contact with non-kosher items, especially if the contact involved heat or mixing. Clearly labeling or segregating non-kosher items in your home can also greatly help prevent future accidents. Following these practical steps provides a clear and straightforward path for managing accidental contamination, ensuring your kitchen remains confidently kosher. By understanding the core principles and taking simple actions, you can quickly resolve these unexpected situations, maintaining your peace of mind and upholding your kosher lifestyle with ease.
If you love kosher living, like, subscribe, and join our table.